Dr. Dustin Niffen with you here today. What I want to do is talk to you about how chiropractors can affect the nervous system, how the nervous system can impact your overall health if it isn't functioning properly. And so what most people assume is that the nervous system is intact, and what chiropractors do is we look for subtle interferences within the nervous system that can directly impact your health. And so as a chiropractor, what we do is we look for areas of the spine that are putting pressure and irritation on those nerves and causing interference within your nervous system along the neural pathways. And so we know that the brain, which sits up in the skull, is a control center of the whole body. And so when the brain isn't able to communicate with the rest of the body, that's when an interference can occur. And so the brain sends the signals down through the spinal cord, and they branch off at different areas, going to different tissues, including all your muscles, all your organs, and the rest of the connective tissues. And so it signals down, and then they also send back up. And so what can happen sometimes is you can get subluxations, which I just said is when bones misalign in the spine, causing pressure irritation or interferences within the nervous system. And so if you get a subluxation, for instance, down here in the low back area, so this is the low back, this is the lower part of the spine, and this is the neck region, that's the head. So if you get a subluxation down here in the low back area, if those nerves are irritated, that can cause numbness and tingling down into the legs and feet. That can also cause muscles to be weak in the legs. And what we often don't consider is that these nerves also go to the organs in the lower part of the body, including the reproductive organs. So in the female, it can cause symptoms such as infertility. Male, it could be erectile dysfunction or problems with the testicles. It can also affect the lower digestive tract, so including the small intestines and large intestines. And so that's something that we don't often think about with people that have digestive problems, is when the nerves can't communicate with the digestive system properly. And so the digestive system, those nerves help the motility of the food through the digestive tract. And so if they're going too fast or too slow, that can cause symptoms such as diarrhea or constipation. If you get a subluxation in the middle part of your back, up here, like in between the shoulder blades or down a little bit below the shoulder blades, these nerves go to the heart, and so it can cause dysfunction in the lungs, such as symptoms such as asthma or difficulty breathing. We also have nerves that go to the stomach, and so it can cause the stomach, the brain can say, hey, stomach produce this much acid or not produce enough acid, and so that can cause difficulty when processing food if we are producing either too much acid in the stomach or not enough acid, because the brain is constantly communicating with these organs back and forth. But if there's interference along those neural pathways, there can be miscommunication, so that can cause dysfunction for those organs to not do or act appropriately. We also have nerves that go to the heart, and so a lot of times we see if someone has nerve interference between their brain and their heart, it can cause symptoms such as high blood pressure, low blood pressure, irregular heartbeat. And so it's very important that the brain can communicate with the heart, so that way we can normalize blood pressure as well. Now there's many causes to blood pressure, but that's something that's often overlooked, and so it's a good alternative to get checked to see if you have proper communication between your brain and the heart, to see if it may be contributing to your high blood pressure. If you have a subluxation in the mid-back, that can affect any of the nerves down below, because the brain sending signals has to go down through the neck and go through the mid-back and down to the low back. And so if you have a subluxation in mid-back, that can affect any of those nerves down below that point. So now we're going to move up to the neck. And so up here in the neck region, we have a lot of nerves, and the neck is a very important part of the spine. We have nerves that branch out, and it goes to the thyroid gland, it goes to the parotid gland, so that the thyroid is very important. And a lot of people are having thyroid issues nowadays, and so it's very important that the brain communicate with the thyroid gland so it can produce enough hormones, T3 and T4 appropriately, so that way the thyroid can function properly and give you energy. And so it's important to get checked by a chiropractor to see if you have proper nerve signals that are going from your brain into your thyroid gland, so that way you can function properly. We also have nerves that go to our eyes, and so it can affect the function of our eyes. And so it's very important to get that checked out as well. We also have nerves that go into our face, and so sometimes people that have facial pain called trigeminal neuralgia, that's oftentimes a dysfunction, especially in the upper cervical spine. If those nerves are irritated, which come out and wrap around the head, that can cause trigeminal neuralgia, and that's excruciating facial pain. There's also another nerve that wraps around and goes in the face. It's called the facial nerve, and that's very important to move the muscles of the face. And so sometimes people, especially people that have a stroke, you can see how one side of their face, they can't move the muscles as well, and that's because the nerves in the brain have been damaged, and that's affected those nerves, and therefore they can't move those muscles. Oftentimes people get really bad headaches, and so what's not shown on this picture though is that there's nerves that branch out through here and wrap around the head and go all the way, wrap around the back of the head and come up the sides as well as the top and around the eyes and behind the eyes. And so people can experience headaches from a misalignment or subluxation in their spine because those nerves get so irritated that gives us a headache, and those can be debilitating. Sometimes people, they can't look at bright lights, or they may feel dizzy or nausea, and so those can be troublesome for a person that has a subluxation in the spine, which can go undetected for many years until they go to a chiropractor, get the subluxation corrected in their spine, and then ultimately start to function better because that subluxation has been corrected, and that can often decrease migraine headaches. So if you liked my video, you can like my page, Dr. Dustin Niffen, and if you feel this was valuable and you want to share this with a friend, feel free to share this with as many people that you think would benefit from this, and I hope you enjoy the videos to come in the future. Thank you.